Hello there, adventurer. Welcome to the Crooked Cleric, the finest place to wet your whistle this side of the Corollas Mountains. Fighting a mighty thirst or a roaring hunger? Aye, we can take care of that. Helga makes a mean brandy boulette roast, and we carry the finest dwarven ale. Oi, Helga! Bring us around, would you? But you didn't come here for the pub fare, did you? No, you came here to hear one of my famous tales, I suspect. Well, you're in luck. I was just recalling the reason I never allow persuasion rolls between PCs. A fantastic cautionary tale, full of drama, treachery, and scandal.
Welcome back, traveller. Here's your ale. On the house this time. Drink up.
Ah, yes, thank you, Helga. I'd be lost without you. Well, traveller, shall we begin? It's been a while since my last post, so I figured I'd give it another shot. This happened years ago now as well, if memory serves. This was the second campaign I was ever a part of, and had not begun DMing myself yet. Dialogue is all mostly paraphrasing, as the events of this campaign happened roughly 4 years ago. You all know the drill by now. All names included here are fake. Here's our list of characters. Cassie, the first-time DM with a penchant for the Feywild. Myself, a Homebrew Warforged Artificer with very high intelligence and wisdom. Troy, a high-intelligence human wizard. Isaac, a Kenku rogue and first-time player. This was actually Isaac's first game, not the one I had DM'd from my last post. I'd almost forgotten this campaign due to reasons I'm sure you'll understand soon. Amanda and Rachel, Centaur Bards, yes, plural, and the problem players for tonight's story. There were a few other party members, but none of them are particularly important to this story. This campaign had been running for a long time at this point, focused around resurrecting a dead nature goddess before life started to die out on the material/mortal plane. Our party had been in the Feywild for several sessions by now, which frankly everyone was sick of, but that's a story for another day. My first character, a tiefling monk, had recently left the party over trust issues, due to them attempting to sell him into magical slavery in order to convince a powerful Fey enchanter to spare them. So naturally, the DM needed to find a way to introduce my new character to the party. Cassie took this opportunity to allow a few new players to join the main party alongside my artificer, flavoring it as two parties teaming up. This is where Amanda and Rachel both joined the campaign, alongside a satyr paladin and my artificer. In the session that ensued, Amanda and Rachel quickly made themselves the centers of attention. No problem, I thought. That's just what bards tended to do. However, this would soon morph into insisting that they were going to both lead the party, and that we were all going to do as they said. This is frankly a ridiculous request to make in D&D at all, let alone to an 8-person party. Amanda in particular grew increasingly heated and frustrated with the majority of players not being okay with this, arguing for about 20 minutes and completely deadlocking any progress that was to be made in the campaign. This continued until we all heard Rachel giggle to herself as she interjected to narrate how her bard bursts into a song about how stupid the party was, and how they needed to let the two actually smart ones take the lead. Obviously, most of the party was not particularly concerned at this point until we heard Cassie speak. The conversation went something like this. Cassie. Alright, Rachel, as you begin to sing to the party, make me a persuasion check. Troy. Wait, what? Why would that... Amanda, cutting Troy off. Ooh, my bard will join in Rachel's song so she gets advantage. Troy. Why would that sound any more sensible in song form? Is the song magical? If so, I cast counterspell. Cassie, also cutting Troy off. Alright then, Rachel, go ahead and roll persuasion on the party with advantage. Anyone wanting to contest this, roll your own persuasions. This got me pretty frustrated, to say the least. The reason I mentioned I was playing a Homebrew Artificer is because the class hadn't officially entered D&D 5e yet, and this Homebrew variant was based on Wisdom. My character had double proficiency bonuses in Insight and a 20 in Wisdom. If anyone could sniff out bullshit, it was her. But by allowing Rachel and Amanda to roll Persuasion on the party and forcing us to contest it with our own Persuasion checks, most of us use Charisma as a dump stat. Cassie had effectively given the bards the keys to the campaign. Of course, nobody could beat Rachel's roll due to her insane bonus to Persuasion and combined advantage. Can you guess what happened next as the session continued after this? Did you guess that Rachel and Amanda continued to constantly abuse their newfound ability to control the party with simple persuasion rolls, as if we were NPCs? If so, then you get a bardic inspiration! After the fourth or so instance of this happening, wherein Amanda and Rachel began a duet after a combat encounter that we should give them all of the gold and loot we had as well as anything else we'd gotten during our adventures, since they could supposedly keep better track of it. I snapped and put my foot down. That. How can you possibly convince us to hand everything to your characters for the rest of the campaign? What possible talking points could your characters have to make this at all appealing? Cassie was upset by this, reminding me that I had to accept the results of the rolls at her table, to which I promptly informed her that I no longer was going to participate in this campaign, and left the Discord call. Not my proudest moment, but I was seeing red after putting so much effort into a character, just to have her turn into a glorified NPC via a series of absurd persuasion rolls. Isaac would later tell me that Cassie ended the session pretty soon after that, and that Troy also left the campaign. Isaac decided to stay in the game, just out of some desire to see just how much of a train wreck it would be. He would later tell me that the campaign fizzled out and died, as the DM had given the party a plot-important letter. But Rachel decided she was going to be the one to hold on to it, and that the party should never read it unless she says so, naturally succeeding on persuasion checks with Amanda's assistance to make it so. With no way for the party to get the only important plot hook Cassie had planned to give the party, sessions apparently became hours-long slogs of trying to convince Amanda and Rachel to hand over the letter, or the rogue trying to steal it off of the bards to no success. According to Isaac, the campaign fizzled out and died not long after. It is because of this awful experience I have never allowed the party in my campaigns to roll persuasion on each other. Screw that. If my players want to convince each other, they better actually convince each other. And so ends our tale. Did it quench your thirst for entertainment, adventurer? I knew it would. I got a knack for this sort of thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. It really helps us. We'll be seeing ya.